Isaiah Stewart is a great prospect for the Detroit Lions this season.
Welcome to Her Sports Convo with Ashleigh Wilson.
Hey y'all, welcome back. Crazy to see you here again. I hope you had a good week last week. I hope you have a good week this week. Happy Thanksgiving. If you're somehow listening to this on Thanksgiving, happy Wednesday, happy Tuesday, whatever day of the week you decide to listen to this on. I hope you're having a good time, eating some good food, and watching football, maybe, possibly, I don't know. Live your life. Another week has come upon us. The last time we spoke, just the two of us, Cam Newton was not on an NFL roster, but yet again, here we are. He's on an NFL roster. He played for the Panthers on Sunday, and let me tell you, I thought someone had stole my body and sent me back to 2016 because I felt like that's where I was. I was sitting on the couch cheering on the Panthers and Cam Newton to win a football game. Did they win? No. Was I disappointed? Not by any means. I mean, Cam played great, and it was just so much fun in general, just to, personally, I would say just to like watch a team and cheer for them. Like, as I've always said, I've been a neutral party, but like, you know, sometimes I cheer for a team because I like a player or something like that. But when you're just generally want like everyone on the team to do good, but in respect, I am more still cheering for Cam in that way still. But it just felt nice. Like, even though they lost and the defense couldn't quite, you know, finish the job, they played great. But aside from the Cam Newton coming back, his return situation, can we talk about Christian McCaffrey? Because I've always had the intuition that Mr. McCaffrey was holding out, you know, not necessarily faking his injuries, but, you know, extending them, making the protocol and the things last a little longer. So by the time he felt 100,000% healthy, he could pack up his bags and move out of Charlotte. But, you know, I felt like this man's had a resurgence since, you know, Cam came back knocking on the door 2 weeks ago, and he was flying around that football field, giving 199.999%. So, Christian, were you holding out on the Panthers this whole time waiting for Cam? I'm not judging. I would do the same thing because I'm not about to go out here and break my neck for Sam Darnold. Like, come on now, y'all. Like, you might be a Jets fan or you might be a Sam Darnold fan, but let's be a little realistic. Mr. Darnold, he ain't holding a candle to Cam Newton, Mac Jones, PJ Walker. Like, he's just not doing it. And it's okay to just not be doing it. Like, it's fine. I have the utmost respect for these second and third stringers in the NFL because honestly, to me, they're the smartest people. Like, you're doing literally 1/3% of the work and you're still making a pretty decent paycheck. Like, you just show up to practice. You know you're not necessarily going to get in the game until something catastrophic happens and you're just out here enjoying all the benefits, none of the risk. Sounds like the perfect job for me. But on the topic of Mac Jones and the Patriots, like, they're at the top of their division right now, which is bonkers to think about. And that is because the Bills lost this week. But like, are the New England Patriots still like that team? Are they still those guys, even with Mac Jones? And I know people are like having these conversations that he should be the rookie of the year, which we should, you know, let's back up off that podium. But like, they're actually good and they're competing in this league at a caliber, which I said myself that I didn't think Mac Jones was that kind of guy, but I'm not taking that statement back. I still don't think he's that kind of guy, but he's doing well with what he has in the situation he's had. And, you know, maybe the Patriots are bringing it back to like their Tom Brady days. Like, we still run this division and maybe we even still run this conference. Now, we probably shouldn't go that far off the deep end since there's still a good amount of time left in the season and a lot of big games left to be played. But make sure you got your eyes out for the New England Patriots because they're sneaking up on you guys, especially in their division. I decided to start watching some basketball more this week as, you know, the NCAA came back. We got the women's playing. We got the men's playing. But most importantly, I dipped my toe into the NBA again and gave it another shot. And I'm not saying that when I watch basketball, chaotic things occur, but I am saying that the past 2 times I've left the NBA and came back on a random day of the week, fights break out. which if you don't know what I'm talking about LeBron versus Isaiah Stewart, which turned out to be more like Isaiah Stewart versus everyone else trying to get between him and Mr. LeBron. That man was on a tear. I mean, he had the blood dripping from his face and he was going for blood. It was insane. Now, some people said his reaction was a bit too much, which I completely disagree. Like, that was a very big cheap shot from LeBron. And I'm not saying I would have went up to fight LeBron, but I am saying I'm very confrontational. So I wouldn't have just walked away and been like, it's okay, LeBron James. So I see Isaiah Stewart's point in this conversation. And I think we should give big props to Cade Cunningham, Dwayne Casey, basically everyone on the Pistons sidelines and staff and team, because they tried their best to stop this man. But he had no fear. But my particularly favorite part about the whole situation was the fact that he played the old, I'm fine, and then took off across the court. Like, it was insane. But DeAndre and Russell Westbrook, they probably did their best defense all season long during that little altercation and little scrimmage, because like all the videos of like Russell Westbrook like putting his feet up, looking like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish little logo. Like, come on, Russell. Like, I'm not saying Russell isn't about that life, because we know he kind of is, but I am saying that wasn't the stance for you, Mr. Westbrook. That won't it, my dog. The part that really sent me over the edge was the announcers telling the fans, because the game was at Detroit, stay in your seats, don't get involved, because if you might not know, this is the same fan base that sprouted Malice in the Palace. So they knew what was up, and I'm pretty sure that same announcer still works at, for the Detroit Pistons organization. So he knew. He was like, I was there, I saw it, I don't want to see it again. So everyone, please stay in your seats. But the even crazier part that this occurred is because I was full send going to be talking to you guys about the fun things they do during Detroit Pistons games. But it turns out that also the fun things they do is chase each other around the court when we're ready to fight. But the things that I saw this week, it was like they have this like jewelry cam where it's, borderline the kiss cam, but they go around showing people's like chains and watches and stuff. And I was like, this is so Detroit, and I literally love this. When they make free throws, like they do a little swag surf dab moment. I loved it. Ate it up. Like, now I'm kind of like, should I go to a Detroit Pistons game? At home, of course, because like, who wants to see the Detroit Pistons on the road? You know what I mean? The Detroit Pistons seemed like a very fun time. And props to Cade Cunningham. He was trying his best to stop Isaiah Stewart, but I don't think anyone was getting between him and his fiery eye bursts. Because, sometimes when you're in these situations, all you see is red. All you see is teeth, and you want to dig in to whatever your teeth wants to get into. So I don't blame him for chasing after LeBron, but the Detroit Pistons are those guys. Like, I'm not saying the Lions should not be looking at Isaiah Stewart for a little contract negotiation deal on their team, but as they still haven't won a game, Isaiah Stewart is a great prospect for the Detroit Lions this season. They're really missing out on an opportunity not having him on the team. I mean, look at what he did. And then if you want to go on the game side of this game, the Lakers were losing by a whole lot when that happened, because you could obviously tell like that was a frustration play that came out of LeBron. Like, he was sick of this. And the fact that they came back and won the game with there was 8 minutes probably left in the game in the fourth quarter. Completely insane. Russell Westbrook went on a tear. Cade Cunningham kind of got locked up there at the end. But personally, looking back on this, I think LeBron did a whole little, the coach gets ejected. He puts too much emotion, stresses out the rest, get ejected from the game so that the team can have a little motivating behind them. And seems brilliant to me, because as we know, the Lakers have not been those guys all season. They have not been it. And they needed something. I'm not saying they're about to go on a 50-game winning streak by any means because of this, but they need some help. And if, LeBron getting ejected and chased down by Isaiah Stewart in Detroit was the fire that needed to be burned in them. Whatever happens. But the Lakers really need to tighten it up because it's not looking good. Like, I wanted this team to do so well for many reasons, the big three, LaMelo, Russell Westbrook, like the friends, the gang is back together. They're trying it. You're putting all these multimillionaire superstars, Hall of Famers on this one team, and it just hasn't been looking great. So big props to LeBron for, doing a whole little reverse psychology on his teammates to get them to get their stuff together, because unfortunately they won against the Pistons, which means that Frank Vogel will still be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers this week, which is not good for that organization. But hey, I'm no genie bus. And taking this in the opposite direction of the NBA, the Bulls are kind of great this season. They're beating teams all over the place, and they're doing it in a significant fashion, as well as they look like they're having the best time of their lives. Like, I may be wrong, but I mean, I've seen some of their games and like, they're good. Like, Caruso is out here having the same Caruso energy he had with the Lakers. Zach LaVine is out here putting on a show like the star they paid him to be. And then DeMar DeRozan is working in well in that. And Lonzo Ball is finally, coming around, getting his 3-point shot up that he's always been struggling with his career. And they're a true threat in the East, if you asked me. Like, yeah, you have the Bucks, and bless the little Nets' hearts. They're just trying their best to make it day by day, but it's really not working out for them recently. And I think the Bulls could make a nice little run in the East. And I'm not saying they're going to win it all, but they're going to make a nice little run. As well as people who are doing well is Anthony Edwards. Like, can we get a round of applause for Anthony Edwards in this house? Because this man, we know Anthony Edwards is not out here looking at tape all the time, that he's not, thinking about basketball 24/7, 7 days a week, 365, which I don't think that's a problem. I think, there needs to be separation between work and play. 100% agree. But he's doing these things on this court at, one, the age he is, which is my age. Two, at the fact that he's not spending 24/7 looking at tape, reviewing tape, and all these things. And he's still out here cooking these guys. He is cooking them with ease. Like, it is giving him microwavable, lunchable situations when he's out here on this court. And the idea that this is not him at where he could possibly be his best is completely insane. So if you haven't been able to check out a Timberwolves game, which I don't think I'd ever say this, but you definitely should watch, because that number one pick is playing like a number one pick should, and that's not something you've seen in a lot of recent years. And as we are in the week of Thanksgiving, which means there's like a day and a half left of the college football season, which means everyone and their grandmas are freaking out about who's going to make it into the college football playoffs. I personally just have to touch on the fact that Oregon played Utah in week 12-13 of the college football season, and the fact that they're ranked number 3 or 4 in the college football playoffs, like, whose idea was this? Now, I'm not saying Utah is, Ohio State, which they played and they won, but I'm also not saying Utah is a bad football team in your conference. Like, do you guys not want a Pac-12 team in the college football playoffs looking at the Pac-12? Because what did you expect to happen for Oregon to go into Utah and beat Utah on national television? Like, I'm not saying I didn't think Oregon was only going to score 1 touchdown. Like, I didn't see that coming. But I did see the fact that this is going to be a challenging game and really hurt your chances in the CFP. So why did we do that? Who thought this was a great idea? Because I'm telling you it wasn't. And maybe you probably won't do that again, but you probably will, because it is a Pac-12. Like, Oregon should have been playing Colorado this week, especially at Colorado. Or if they wanted them to play Utah, great. They should have been playing Utah at Utah. These people who make these schedules, yes, they make the schedules 500 years in advance, but also you know what the team is going to look like before that schedule. Like, you already know. You don't got to tell me, because I know. Like, obviously, I really don't know, but, like, I know that these things are made. You see the team. You see how the puzzle pieces are going to fall together before the season even starts. And the fact that the Pac-12 continuously, like, wrecks their chances of making the CFP really confuses me. Because I'm like, what's the goal here? Is the goal just to be bowl contenders, or is the goal to, like, win national championships? Again, I don't care if they win or they not. But I also care that you're hurting Mr. Vernon McKinney's chances of being a very top-ranked team. If you don't know, he is a cornerback for Oregon, and he's very good. But obviously, last weekend, he looked bad because, Oregon scored like 56 points on them. And it wasn't all his fault. Like, there's other people on the field, 10 other people to be exact. But it was not a good look for Oregon or the Pac-12. But a good look for Oregon and the Pac-12 was this week's feel-good moment, and that goes to Dorian Thompson Robinson, I don't know. Dorian DTR, that's what they call him on the internet. So UCLA played USC, and after he scored a touchdown, there was a fan who had a UCLA hat, and he went over there and, like, signed their hat, because, they can do that now. And the ref gave him an unsportsmanlike conduct because he signed the hat after he scored the touchdown. Like, he wasn't bothering anyone. He gave the referee the ball back. The referee was, putting on his no fun league at the moment. And they took the 15-yard penalty. Now, it didn't make much of a difference in that game, particularly because UCLA was winning by hundreds of dozens of thousands. Like, it wasn't even close. The USC fans didn't even show up for the game before the game even started because they knew how the show was going to end. The part that really made it a feel-good moment was that after the game, one, the fans stayed the whole game because of the score that game was. Two, that DTR went back and got a picture with the fan. Even though, the refereeing so mean and gave him that unsportsmanlike penalty, he went back to the fan and got a photo with him, which, that's heartwarming. That's the things we love to see. And the second part of this week's feel-good moment goes to Chris Olave. Now, if for some reason you've been living on the rock for the past, 10 years in college football, Chris Olave is a wide receiver for Ohio State. Now, personally, I think Chris Olave has been playing college football for about 10 years, but turns out it's only been about 6. You could have told me different, but it was finally his senior night this weekend, and thank goodness. Good for you, Chris Olave. I can't wait to see you in the NFL and see what you do there, as well as I'm just excited to see you finally made it out of college, because goodness gracious, homie, you've been in there forever. Well, that's all I have for this week. Make sure to like, comment, rate, subscribe wherever you decide to listen to your podcast at. Head on over to Instagram and follow at Her Sports Convo to stay up to date on all things Her Sports Convo, as well as check out the Her Sports Convo YouTube channel where I post new videos every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't checked out this week's video, it's about the history of the NFL and Thanksgiving and why we always see the Dallas Cowboys every week. As well as check out the podcast channel if you're not already watching this. You can watch me talk to myself once a week every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Get ready for the live shows that will be happening December 17th at 7 p.m. on the main channel. Yes, you're right. You're ready. Get ready. Make sure you're subscribed to the main channel because you do not want to miss all the fun things that will be happening that day. It's a Wednesday. I checked the calendar. Nothing's happened. So you literally have no reason not to come tap in. As always, be safe, have fun, and don't be afraid to join the convo.